There was a great panic. Many people died. Some jumped into the well. Some were crushed to death trying to escape. Later we discovered 1,600 rounds were fired. Never in the history of mankind has an army shot civilians so ruthlessly.
I fired, and I continued to fire until the crowd dispersed. And I consider this the least amount of firing which would produce the necessary moral and widespread effect it was my duty to produce, if I was to justify my actions.
I may say this, as head of the government of the Punjab at the time, that if General Dyer had not dispersed that crowd by force, we should have had an infinitely more serious state of rebellion.
Sir Michael O'Dwyer was the Lieutenant Governor, and he was in total command of the Punjab. It was his orders which replaced the civilian authority, which should have been in control, with a military commander who should never have exercised the power he did.
More than 600 people were killed in 6 deadly minutes. Among them, many of Udham Singh's friends and acquaintances. It was a turning point. The massacre didn't just ensure that British rule in India had to end. It sealed the fate of the man all India held responsible, Sir Michael O'Dwyer. As he looked upon the carnage, Udham's soul was racked by pain and loss. He scooped up a handful of the blood-soaked soil of the Jallianvala Bag and ran to the Golden Temple, the holiest shrine of Sikhism. There he immersed himself in the holy waters of the temple. He swore an oath to avenge the massacre of his people and prayed for the strength to carry out his mission. In 1932, Udham emerged from prison enraged by the execution of his guru and political mentor, Babar Singh, who had killed a European official. They belonged to a radical movement called the Dyer. Udham had been sent to America to buy arms for the movement. On his return to India, he was arrested and imprisoned. The death of the charismatic Babar Singh convinced Udham that he must carry out his vow of vengeance. He stripped away the most visible signs of his origins by removing his turban and cutting his hair. He never abandoned, however, the kara, the steel bracelet, and kirpan, his dagger, symbolizing a Sikh's moral duty to defend the weak and oppressed without fear of death. How Udham obtained a legal British passport, despite his prison record and political background, has never been explained. In 1933 he left India, arriving in England 2 years later, after a journey that had taken him through Asia, Africa and Europe.
There's no way back now. I must find Sir Michael and do what is required of me. It is my destiny.
Udham adopted a new identity, dressing in the height of fashion and embarking upon a life shrouded in mystery. It is known, however, that he frequented dance halls and clubs and worked at a variety of jobs, including as a film extra and as a mechanic. He bought an old motorcycle which he repaired, and on it he visited Indian communities all over the country. He frequented a Sikh temple in Shepherd's Bush. At that time, the British Secret Service placed him under surveillance, but did not interfere with his movements. Udham was a regular customer at an Indian restaurant in Covent Garden, which was patronized by artists, intellectuals, and radical political thinkers. He succeeded in keeping his mission secret. When friends asked him what he was doing in England, he would reply, "One day you will find out." General Dyer had been forced to resign from the army and blamed for the massacre. Sir Michael O'Dwyer, who had retired to Devon, defended him against these charges.
O'Dwyer launched a campaign of vindication. He never missed an opportunity to rush to the defence of Dyer. He wrote articles, he made speeches, and he enlisted the aid of the influential Morning Post, and even got them to launch an appeal which raised £26,000 for General Dyer, which was a vast sum of money in those days.
After his arrest, Udham claimed to have worked for Sir Michael at his home in the village of Thurleston. Pretending to be lost, he said he struck up a conversation with his quarry and succeeded in gaining employment as a handyman and driver. He did not kill Sir Michael then because he wanted his revenge to be as public as the Jallianvala Bag massacre had been.
Harry! Harry! That's all right, he knows his own way home. Probably chasing some rabbit down the combe.
Sir Michael was a regular visitor to London, giving talks on India for various organisations. Udham Singh's opportunity was approaching.
I had connections, people who had what I needed and who would help me. Patrick was a good man. He never let me down. Even though I was late for our meeting, I knew he'd be there, waiting for me.
See you again. It's been a long time.
Been away on business.
Udham Singh read a notice that Sir Michael O'Dwyer was to address a meeting in this very room, the Tudor room in Caxton Hall, on the subject of Afghanistan. And it was then he decided he would seek his revenge. Now, he told his friends that they would read in the morning that a great event had taken place.
O Lord, of Thee this boon I ask. Let me never shun a righteous task. Let me be fearless when I go into battle. Give me faith that victory will be mine. Give me power to sing Thy praise. And when comes the time to end my life, let me fall in a mighty strife.
On the morning of March 13th, 1940, at his secret hideaway in Camden, North London, Udham made his final preparations.
This is the last time I will commit this sacrilege.
Sir Michael?
I did it because I had a grudge against him. He deserved it. It's no use. It's all over.
When the news reached Amritsar that Udham Singh had taken it on himself to go to England and had killed Dyer, the people were so happy that a Punjabi had avenged the tragedy of the Jallianvala Bag. It raised high the name of Punjab. People went out and distributed sweets. They danced in the streets because the son of Punjab had restored the honor of Punjab.
In prison, Udham, a strict vegetarian, embarked on a 6-week hunger strike and was eventually force-fed with food containing meat. Awaiting trial for the murder of Sir Michael, he wrote a series of letters to his friends at the Sikh temple.
I am not sorry, as I am a soldier of my country. I am not afraid of dying, and soon I will be married to the bride called Death. It is 10 years since my best friend Babar Singh died, and I am sure that after my death I will see him as he is waiting for me.
Udham Singh pleaded not guilty to murder. He was found guilty after a short trial. He told the court that he killed Sir Michael Dyer to avenge the Amritsar massacre. The judge ordered the press not to report his words. On 31st of July 1940, he was hanged at Pentonville Prison. Udham Singh's story might have ended there, but in 1974, Sadhu Singh persuaded the Indian and British governments that Udham's remains should be returned to India.
At the stroke of midnight, under great secrecy, the government handed to us a box containing his remains and effects, which we brought to Delhi with us. At the airport, the Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was there to greet us. There was a large procession that accompanied the body. He lay in state for 4 days. And from all over India, VIPs and ministers came and paid their respects.
Huge crowds lined the route from Delhi to Punjab, hailing their national hero and martyr. On the anniversary of his death in 1974, Udham Singh's ashes were finally scattered on the river near his home village of Sunam.
Now in every town and village in India, every year, the anniversary of his death is commemorated. And the biggest thing of all was when he gave his name as Ram Muhammad Singh Azad. Everyone, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christian, could say that this was a true son of India, who sacrificed his life for the dignity and self-respect of India.
I have seen people starving in India under British imperialism. I am not sorry for protesting. It was my duty to do so, just for the sake of my country. I don't care what sentence, 10, 20 or 50 years, or to be hanged.
My advice to you is to keep quiet.